Good evening, Instagram Live. It's Chaplain Anthony James coming to you live and direct from Marketplace Ministry, where healing takes place and real talk as well. Yeah, just to recap some things that we've been talking about in the past couple of weeks. Covering community awareness, community involvement, and just doing things that's necessary that's going to help you get to the next level in your life. As long as you're doing the things that you are supposed to do and not what you know are not supposed to be doing. So yeah, again, this is Marketplace Ministry, Chaplain Anthony James, and just waiting for my co-founder to chime in, and then we can get this thing started. All right. Here we go. What's going on, my brother?
Nothing much. What's going on, chap?
Man, everything's good. Everything's good. Introduce yourself, man.
How y'all doing, Marketplace? Man, this is Keith Henry, co-founder of Marketplace Ministries. Where we tell our testimonies to God, to guide souls to God, and hopefully we could change somebody's life, man. Like myself, man, I'm a partaker, man. So I take it very seriously, man, because man, like I say, my life has really changed in a whole nother way. That I thought was never possible. And it's one thing to feel like you can be rich. You know what I mean? Anybody, I mean, most people who feel as though they're intelligent, they feel they can reach certain amount of income because you know yourself, you know what you can do. But it's another thing to be rich within. You know what I mean? To
Right,
feel
right.
something within yourself, and I believe I'm tapping into that. Because of this. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, like the wealth, I mean the fleshly wealth, I should say. You know what I mean? I've been on a track to that, but it was at a stagnant growth. It was steady, but it was stagnant. You know what I mean? And now I understand why, because I don't think I would have wanted that type of wealth with that type of spiritual wealth. You know what I mean? I want my spiritual wealth to match my financial wealth, and I in Marketplace Ministries, and putting me on the right track towards that.
Right. Yeah. And that's what's up, man. And that's growth. Just commend you for just being open and honest. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what ministry is about. Even in the marketplace, you have to be honest. You know what I mean? You have to be open so people can gravitate to whatever products you have. And dealing with the ministry part, it's not a product, it's about change. You know what I mean? And so, again, man, I commend you, man. And to be a younger brother, you know what I mean, coming up in the ranks, you know what I mean, pretty sharp.
Thank
You pretty grounded. It's always room for improvement, as well as for myself. You know what I mean? But on here, that's what we do with Marketplace Ministry. We give, affirmation. You know what I mean? We encourage, we inspire, we empower. That's how we move forward, and that's how we grow. And if we can't do that for one another, then what are we even on here for?
you. Right.
You know what I mean? And so that's a big deal. Just getting into this ministry, this community of involvement, this community awareness thing, man, it's so heavy, man. It's like, I was thinking about it today, man. It's like, wow, man, like God, this is a lot. This is heavy. This is some heavy duty stuff when you care.
Right.
You
Right.
know what I mean? You care, man, about a people, man. It's
Mhm.
it's, it's not it's not it's not easy to just deal with this thing alone. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? I had some people, we was talking earlier, I had somebody reach out to me, New York, and things are going on as well as everywhere else things are going on in our community. Not just one place is happening. It's happening in many places, many communities where still black on black killings. There's still a lot of negativity stuff that's going on. And somebody reached out to me, man, on Facebook, and it was heart, crushing, because it ain't like it's the first time I've heard it,
Right.
but where it came out, you know what I mean? It's like, man, enough is enough, man. We have to, and that's actually what their slogan is: enough is enough. You know what I mean? And so that was pretty, but it's acronyms and all that. I think we got to go deeper than that. We got to go deeper than just sayings now. You know what I mean? Because it all sounds good. You know what I mean? It all sounds good. When we Black Lives Matter, enough is enough.
I
Stop the
think
violence.
I think a lot of people are really kind of fearful because in the back of our minds, I mean, I know I can speak for myself, you know what I mean, and I know I'm not crazy to think I'm the only person think like this. When we bring up the history of America, when it comes down to the black people trying to, pull their people up, to the leaders, you know what I mean, what happened to them, you know what I mean, and I think that's why it's a lot of talking going on, because people are scared to really cross their gun line, you know what I mean, like, hey, we're gonna sit up here and talk because we know if we talk, there's nothing gonna happen. But as soon as we start, and I think that's where that come from. You know what I mean? And I believe in too, one person or people, really start make some real, you know, noise in the streets where people really can say, okay, when arts behind that, like we can move without, because it's a lot of, I believe they threw a lot of little stuff out there trying to, make, like, I seen a story to where the guy he had went to where the KKK supposedly had, originated from with some rifles or whatever. You know what I mean? And I guess that's supposed to be like a little sign that, hey, okay, guys, everything is okay. And to me, I don't know. I just don't, I just don't feel, what I mean? Like, I don't know. What do you think about that, Chap? Do you think that could be a reason why, what I mean, that there's a lot of enough is enough, and, we shall overcome, and, what I mean? Because in the back of our mind, we know our leaders have been, ripped off the bone. You know what I mean? And right. Do you think that's
Well,
still applies in 2020?
of course it is. I mean, it's going to continue to be like that. But if we go into the Word of God, Jesus said, I understand Martin Luther King's walk. I understand, Frederick Douglass. I understand all this, Marcus Garvey. I understand all that.
Right.
But, the Word of God says we overcame
Mm-hmm.
by the blood of the Lamb. We overcame already. So I think we have to take it a step further. I heard a pastor, a bishop, talking about today. He was like, you know what? He gets the protesting, but it needs to be, it needs to be policies put in place. It needs to be, but it's easy to say that. But who's helping, sitting down, talking about this stuff with people? Like literally coming to the table and saying, this is how we're going to walk this out. This is how we're going to do this. And I think that's the next step of this. Instead of us wanting to march, because I don't want to do no crazy marching, me personally. Now, whoever's doing the marching, hey, I commend you. But me, God is telling me to move a different way. You know what I'm saying? Because for the simple fact is, we have to have a plan set in motion. When we march, we should march right after the march. We should go sign a declaration of something and say, listen, this is what we're going to do next. You know what I'm saying? Because what the march does, it amplifies, it starts a commotion, but then after the commotion, it's like the camaraderie, it fades out. You know what I mean? Like I'm hearing all on social media, this young brother, I think he was a former gang member, he was saying, it's a massacre. He was saying all the big homies and all this and all that. But listen, after a week of that, you ain't here no more. You ain't here no more. And that's not the first time I saw something like that. You know what I mean? But it keeps fading out. It keeps fading out. Somebody's going to have to take the stance to say, yo, hold up. We got more than just marching and talking. We putting this in motion. We putting this in action today. You know what I mean? And that means that we're going to have to, because we're going to have to, as much as I would like to communicate the elected officials, we can't. We can't. Because if we try to do something like that, then they're going to X that out. They're going to give us flack.
And you know
So
what,
you have
Chuck?
to,
And that's
you know
crazy.
what I mean?
You know, I've been having it on my heart, man. I've been having it on my heart, you know, really reaching out to some top officials. You know, matter of fact, a long time ago, I had put together some type of little initiative. You know, it was called Presidential Order. Matter of fact, I'm gonna look it up, see if I still got it in my files. You know, but it was called and what it was, all the presidents of certain companies coming together so we can get stuff accomplished. You know, in times like say for instance with Marketplace Ministries, right? When we get ready to start traveling and going to certain places, we need to be able to get in contact with the president of hotels, because we're gonna be staying in hotels. We need to get
Right.
in with the president of Uber, because we had to get transportation. Like, you know, we need to have some type of clearance when we go into these places, because hey man, like we're not just regular people. You know, not to say that we got, you know, but at the end of the day we got a different purpose, got a different, you know what I mean? We have a different calling upon our lives. We understand it. You know, it's just like you have a cure to your problem, and we understand it. If you give us a tool that we need, you know, United Airlines, whatever it is that we need,
Right.
we
Right.
need the president, and Chaplin is our president. We should come together. Hey, this should just go over any type of, you know, any type of anything, you know what I mean? Because hey, expedited process, you know what I mean? Because we need direct contact, you know what I mean? And that been on my heart to do, and it's like it's resurfacing, you know what I mean? It's like it's resurfacing,
Right.
you know what I
And
mean?
you know what, my brother? You hitting the nail on the head. You're hitting the nail on the head now, because that's what we need to be talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Doing something,
Right.
not just keep putting out this conversation. Because man, listen, we've been doing this for centuries and has nothing happened. And then on top of that, when I was talking earlier about this with somebody earlier, you know what popped in my mind?
What's that?
And I knew it was darkness trying to enter into my head. You know what I'm saying? He was like, yeah, remember when he said, yeah. And then I know it was Satan, but I had to cast him out of my mind, because he was coming at me, trying to talk to me about, listen, ain't no sense in doing all this. I'm going to shoot you down like I shot Malcolm X.
Mm.
As soon as you get up and start bringing these people together, and I believe our community, they're in fear. They in fear of that. You know what I mean? In fear that somebody's going to do something to us whenever we grow. So, but we gotta, man, we gotta begin to look at becoming fearless.
And see, Chap, you know, and you know what, and that's crazy that we having this topic. You know, we talking about this. You know, we never really talked about this. You know what I mean? Like,
Time,
and that's
bro.
right.
It's
And it's because I started off with the end in mind. You know what I mean? And it's so crazy how this type of stuff is happening. You know, how I really done wrote this presidential order, because I felt like this was gonna be needed. You know what I
oh,
mean?
it's time, brother. Listen, man. You know, where I live at, you know what I'm saying? Some young people, so this young brother, he really was really uptight with what's going on. And so a young lady, her son got murdered not too long ago. Through I don't know what the cause was, but it was black on black crime. It was black on black killing. You understand? And he began to say enough is enough. So he gathered up some people. He didn't just talk. He was on social media talking about it, but then boom, he followed right up and had a meeting. That's what made me want to move with him, because he didn't just talk about it. He went to the next step. You know what I'm saying? And then he got some response when he went to the next step. And so what you're saying is right on point. Like what we're trying to do through Marketplace Ministry, we're gonna go visit some elected officials. You understand? We're gonna go visit them and let them know this is what we're called to do, and this is what we're inspired to do, and we have the tools to do it to the point of our bodies and our minds. Now we need resources. How can we come together? You know, and they got to hear us. They're going to hear us. You understand? I'm talking about chief of police. I'm talking about deputies. I'm talking about people that can move, that can make decisions. You understand? You can't talk to nobody we need to talk to somebody, the Surgeon General. We need to talk to somebody that can make some decisions. And I got somebody here in Raleigh that I'm sitting down, getting ready to talk to myself. He's a dean. He's a dean of a college, and he's a pastor. And he's moving. He was an ex-detective, but he has so many different pieces. And we talked about this a little bit, but now as we converse about this now, I believe this is the move that we have to take, because, you know, we can shout hallelujah all day long. We can say glory to God all day long. But if we're not moving in that vein, then we're just talking like everybody else. And it's the more we continue to talk, the more it's going to keep happening till it hits home. And I'm not trying to let it hit my home, let it hit your home or somebody else's home. So we need to move on this expeditiously, like now. Faith, if it ain't now faith, it ain't faith.
And that's what I'm finna start putting out. Like I said, with the presidential order, I thank God that, I'm gonna send it to you. I'm gonna send it to you so you can overlook it. You know what I mean, and let your wife look at it or whatever. But I'm really finna get on that. I'm really finna start. Like even today, you know what I did today? I took care of some good business today. I put the application in. I'm really see myself like doing little things. My mind is not on the same. Like my mind will not allow me not to do something. You know what I mean? Like it's right.
When you
Even even
go
when me
ahead.
working, even me working. You know what I mean? Like I say, thanks to Marketplace. Again, I couldn't work at first. You know what I mean? Like, and this is another testimony. This is, a little space in what we're doing, but this testimony. I couldn't work. My mind wasn't capable of dealing with other human beings like that. You know what I mean? Like you couldn't tell me
Yeah,
what time I had somewhere or what? Like who are you? You know what I mean? Like, I don't care what but that's what my mind was at that time. I was under so much distress and so many things was tangled up and bottled up as we go through as black men, you know, um,
right.
and again through Marketplace Ministries, I was able to untangle and this is what came out of that, we opened up the floodgates for others, but anyway, I just had to put that out there, plug that
Right,
in.
right. But just like the word of God says, it says the man with the cerebral palsy in the Bible, right? He couldn't get rid of the cerebral palsy. You know why? Because he was sick with it.
Mm,
The only way he got rid of it is because he became sick of it.
mm.
And that's where we are right now. We sick of this. You know what I'm saying? Now we ain't no longer being sick with it to keep carrying on. Now we sick of it. So
You know
now we
what?
ready to move.
That's that feeling that it is. It's the feeling. I've been trying to wonder, like, what is this feeling? It's a weird feeling going on. And people is like, no, you know what? We're not gonna start life back like it was. Like we not. It's
Right,
something before we start. We're not gonna just start it back like that no more. Like we can't start it back like that. But we're not gonna go back to this place. Like we have, and that's what this is. Like that's because I made a post of it. I said God is telling me to push. You know what I mean? Like I'm in labor. You know what I mean? He's telling me to push. Like something's about to be like,
time, bro.
and that's what
It's,
this
it's
is.
it's it's time to make it happen because you know a lot of times, man. The thing is, it can't be the same. There's no way it's gonna be the same. If God is telling you to push, that means for a purpose, for a reason, but the bottom line is we have so many pieces, and that's why this is a big puzzle. Marketplace Ministry is a puzzle. We're looking for the pieces.
Right.
We're looking for the hidden master. They coming. They reaching out to us already. So, but we got to be leaders. We got to be able to sit down at the table with them and say, listen, this is how, ain't no, well, how are we going to orchestrate? No, we know how to move already. This is what we need from you. This is what we need from you. This is what we need from you. And let's go with it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm done it. Oh, we need help. No. We know what to do already. Now we're putting out, this is what we need from you. This is the resources we need from you. How can we get a hold to these resources from you? Ain't no going in there, well, we don't know what to do. You can't go to them elected officials like that now, because they're going to look at you crazy. You understand? Now you got to go to them like, listen, this is what we need to, we got to have it written down on paper. Habakkuk 2:2 says, write the vision and make it plain. We got to go to them with a plan of action. You know what I'm saying? Not acting like we don't know what's going on. Come on, man. This is our community, man. Right. This ain't their community this is not their community. Half of them elected officials don't live nowhere near us. You see what I'm saying? They live outside of where we live. So we're the ones that's concerned, and God is charging us to do this. And so we're going to move as such. And I'm telling you, it's a reason why what I told you earlier, well, how I'm moving now, how we need to move. You know what I'm saying? We need to start moving now. We need to start moving. Whether it be a job, we got jobs. Yeah, we got jobs. But God is getting ready to take us up out of them because we got work to do. We got work to do. So, and the people that's under the sound,
go ahead. It's gonna be impossible to do both. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because a job is just for somebody else. We're working for God. Right. And when you're working for God, he's going to supply our every need according to his riches and glory. His riches and glory. He's going to supply us what we need because he know we're going into battle. We're going into battle. We're going to get our people. We're going to get the lost. We're going to get the ones that's being destroyed, being disrespected. Come on, man. It's so much going on. He's sending us in the battle. And we're not afraid of it but we're going to be strategic in this. We don't need no guns. He's the big gun.
Right.
Like I said, I prophesied some things to you before about, do you believe in the times where angels going to start showing up? Because we moving that crazy right now. People are dying, man. People are being plucked off. These babies are being plucked off, man.
Hey,
so at the end of the day,
I'm gonna give you one even deeper, man. The world is it just like, you know, I went to go get something to eat the other day, man. It was crazy. Like, cause you can't go on the inside, the drive-throughs or around the corner. People are upset. They got a 30-minute lunch. They trying to get something to eat, and everybody trying to get the same thing, and it's just like you can't go inside. You know, it's just, man. One person got shot in Florida the other day, and I understand it because I was like, man, I'm just gonna get a little hamburger real quick. Boom, man. I went to like 3 different places, and all of them was packed. I'm like, how can I? It's fast food for a reason. You just want to get something to eat and go on. That is causing an inconvenience in the world. People are not used to it.
Because we too laxed. That's what the problem is in our communities. We are very laxed. We very routine. We have a routine. God is trying to get us out of this routine. Like he's making it ain't the world, it's God making us very uncomfortable. God is doing it. And I say it to anybody because that's what I truly believe. It ain't the devil. It ain't the world. God says, listen, I'm going to shut everything down worldwide because you got to understand the devil ain't got no power to move like what's going on. It's God doing this. The whole world is shut down. The whole world. Come on now. If you know anything about God, it's the whole world that's being messed with now because God is saying y'all are too laxed. That's why this stuff is happening. Satan is all in your camps. Satan is creating so much havoc because we sitting down. We with the status quo. So God is saying he's looking with binoculars to see who's going to do what I'm telling them to do. Who's going to do my will, my way. You feel what I'm saying? So we have to go that way, bro. I mean.
Yeah, I you know, I would just sit up here thinking and asking myself, like, who is the real enemy? You know what I mean? Like, you know, who is pushing this? Like say for instance, if we pushing one way, why is this so much? Like, don't get me wrong, God is pushing us. You know what I mean? You know, God is pushing us, and I understand Satan is pushing whomever else, but who is he pushing? Like, who is it? Like, who
We
is
are
like?
puppet masters. He's the puppet master. We are the puppets. So quote unquote. When we keep following the lead of unrighteousness and wrongdoings, then we are puppets. We are puppets. That's what darkness Satan does. He sits back. He has no power. Only power he has is when we give him legal right to enter into us, because enemy is in us. Enemy is in us. We're the ones, the enemy, if anything, because we're the one infiltrating our own houses. Hey, let's go deep now. We're the ones that's killing our own household. We're the ones that's doing craziness to our own household first. That's why he lives way in the households, because we're allowing him to live, because it's in us. We're not kicking it out because we're following wrong. We're doing the wrong. Remember, Satan has no power. Jesus took his power. He stripped him, took the keys and said, death, where's your sting? So the bottom line is this: it's up to us. God is saying, y'all are the ones that I chose to take this earth back, to have dominion. He gave us dominion over all things. So therefore, we're the ones that's giving our kids away. We're the ones that's giving our families away. We're allowing our kids, because everybody killing out there, most of these youngins, it's somebody's children. You can't say, wow, why are they doing this? No, where are their parents at? Where are their parents at? Their parents are sitting somewhere doing something they have no business doing, and they ain't paying attention to their own kids. So that's the problem. That's where we got to come together. So that means, being the case, we have to start coming together and recognizing that we are the problem.
Right.
Oh, I'm gonna put it out there. We're the problem. My son was out there doing some things before that I wasn't happy about. Thank God he's turning some things around. He's changing up his mindset. And I'm so glad to see him doing that at the young age. And I thank God I was able to help lift him up, to help him get on the right path. But at the end of the day, it's our fault. We can't blame nobody. We can't blame the system. We can't blame. They got parts that they play in it. But for the most part, the system ain't in your house. The system ain't in your house. The system ain't in your refrigerator telling you to buy junk and eat it, and now you're obese. Now you got high blood pressure. The
But see, you
system
know
ain't
what?
telling you to do.
I think that's a very fine line, because I believe that the system causes systematic depression and things like that, because because of what our people have went through. You know what I mean? Because what we see on a daily, as far as in our communities, and what we grew up seeing as a result of what the system put in our communities. You know what I mean? So it's a very fine line between from saying that the system is not in the home
But
and
whose fault is that? If I came to you and gave you a pistol and put bullets in your pistol, it's up to you to go shoot that pistol then, right? Right. It ain't the system. The system's selling it. They'll sell you the gun, but guess what? When you go buy the gun, take the gun and use it for hunting purposes. You understand? Don't hunt people. That's what I'm talking about. So I'm not saying the system is going to be the system. You know what I mean? That's like the system gives you license to get married, right? But they don't tell you how to deal with your marriage. They just say, here, I pronounce you man and wife, right? So now all of a sudden it's up to you to govern your marriage now. It's up to you to make sure that things are going pretty decent as much as you can. But when you start now saying, oh, I don't care about this, I'm going to go do this in spite of the vows that I took. If you just look at this, follow me. The vows that I took, okay, I'm going to disrespect the vows now because I feel some kind of way now. You see what I'm saying? That's not the system doing that to you. That's your mind doing that. Because something happened in your relationship, and here you go, man, freak that. I'm going to go do this over here now. No, you did that. The system ain't do that. The system is designed anyway the way it's been designed. But if you want to know the real truth, God never designed the church, the system to run the church, the government. He designed the church to run our community. We are going to the government for everything. We need everything from the government. Now, it's a part that they have to play, but we go to the government for everything. We don't go to the church. The church is sending you. I know some churches, man, not knocking churches, but you got some churches that do what they do their part. But you got a lot of churches, man, they'll send you somewhere else to get some food. You see what I'm saying? So it's a community thing. I'm not putting no blame. I'm putting the blame on listen, our people need to step up. Because we can sit here and say, well, we sick. Well, this happened. They put this in place. So if a person sat there and you know the system is corrupt and they spray poison on your food and you know they did it, why you eat? Why you eating the food then? You feel what I'm saying? Why you partaking of that then?
You know, and that's a part of manipulation too. That's a part of manipulation. You know what I mean? That's a part of manipulation.
Yeah, but let's get off of that manipulation. Why can't we say, listen, we have to do better by not taking the shortcut. I believe that's the biggest problem in our communities. We take too many shortcuts. We want to jump. We don't want to sit down and study to show ourselves approved. We want to listen to the pastor preach a sermon and take from his sermon and try to run with his sermon. Well, you understand what I'm saying?
Chap, I can only speak for myself, you know, when it comes down to certain things, because, you know, I'm gonna go back to on my page in 2016. You know, when I went every day to the library, you know what I mean? I was in the library more than anybody. They knew me. This when I'm telling you about the presidential order, all this type of stuff that I was studying for. You know what I mean? You know, so however, you know, man, you know, but with the wrong decisions that I made, you know, it really still kind of hinder my opportunities, no matter how good I feel like I am at what I do. You know what I mean? So when it comes down to the shortcut, you know, as far as, I mean, just like I say, speaking to myself, I don't feel as though, you know, I wanted a shortcut, you know, but at the end of the day, I do want a opportunity.
But you just said you made wrong decisions.
Right.
That's the shortcut. You made wrong decisions, but that's learning. But you made wrong decisions. But that wrong decision put you in a crazy place. Thank God you came up out of that wrong decision. But some people are not coming back from those wrong decisions. Exactly. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? And that's all I'm saying, because every time, let me say this, every time I talk to another black person, not all, but some,
right?
Because all ain't like whatever, but some, you know what I get back? We don't have no real, we don't come to a even kill where we can say, you know what? Wow, okay, boom, you got a point there. Especially if they wrong, if they did wrong. Because some people don't think, they keep saying, nah, you don't understand. You know, I had so many people come to me, you don't understand slavery, man. You ain't never, man, you know what slavery done to me? You know what slavery done to our people? And I'm saying to myself, when I talk to them, I say, yeah, you're right. You're right. I know what slavery done. But did you pick cotton, sir? Did you get bust through the whip, sir? Did you go through any? Because see, most of that is history, and a lot of times it's his story. It wasn't my story, but I could still understand and say, wow, man, that was crazy. But man, if you keep feeding me that stuff, don't you know it's gonna keep doing the same thing it's doing to me? It might fuel me to change, but it also might fuel me to stay stuck and think that it can't happen for me. So I'm just saying.
and I definitely agree where you're going with that, because I'm not one of those type of people be like, oh, what happened in 1976 and 1954 and 88, 56 and boom, boom. I don't do that. You know what I mean? Like, however, I cannot ignore the fact of my
Who's
ancestors.
saying ignore it? Who's saying to ignore that?
No,
But
I'm just saying.
do you supposed to still live by that though?
No,
By
no, no,
that
no,
creed?
no, 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 no. But I'm saying, listen, this is what I'm saying. This is why marketplace ministry exists.
Right,
Because the
right,
founder and co-founder understand it.
right.
We can't expect for everybody, because guess what? If everybody understood it, guess how many marketplace ministries there'll be?
Man, and exactly, and that's the whole point.
And
I'm
see,
trying to
job
prevent.
is to our job is to show compassion, because hey, we get it, y'all don't understand it.
Right, right.
Okay, look, tell me people I'm argue with to say, okay, look, man, y'all just don't know. Let me get together with somebody that could teach y'all.
Or even if they do know, right? Even if they do know, this ministry is just to add on to what you know.
Give them confidence to follow
Right,
something. A lot
right,
of people are not leaders. They don't have the, even if they do say, hey, man, that could be a way out, they won't even say nothing.
right,
Because
right,
guess what? They don't want the light to be shined on them.
right, right,
You know what I mean? Everything has to align for these type of things to happen.
right.
You know what I mean? We can't know, man. That is not our look, chap. You would do yourself better by just agreeing.
Right.
You're right, sir. Now come to my class, and we okay. You're right.
Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right. Right.
And you keep saying, yeah, no, man. These people, man. Look, no, no. We don't. We in the world, not of the world. A lot of
So
stuff
it's all
don't make sense to a lot of people.
right.
Because guess what? If I believe, because guess what? Now, if I talk to you for 5 minutes out of the day, and you get my mind to change on something, now I'm thinking about this for the next 3 to 4 weeks. Because now you done rearranged my whole mindset by having, well, I was thinking this, and now you got me thinking, I'm like, oh my goodness, now that means this here must be wrong, and that must be wrong, because this guy in life, you can shorten somebody's circuit by giving them too much information.
Right.
A lot of people cannot handle that type of information. They will short circuit. They will go something else is off, like I'm unbalanced, because it's just like when kids find out there's no Santa Claus. You know what I mean? Like, oh my goodness, that mean mama been buying my toys. Oh, that mean daddy been, you know what I mean? That mean we put cookies out for nobody. That mean who is the slay in it? See, all these questions come because you enlighten them on something that they didn't even know that first. Now you gotta explain God, and then you gotta explain what December 25th is, and now you got all that because you done told them Christmas Santa Claus is not real. I done
But
broke your world with one sentence.
you gotta see, this is what, and this is what I'm saying. That's why we have a founder and a co-founder.
Thank you.
Okay? Because we come from different way of thought patterns, but we bring it together.
Right.
And so my even on what you just said, there's a lot of truth in that. You know what I'm saying? But the deal is not but and, because but is when you cancel out what you said. You understand? So we got to be very mindful of that, because I'm in agreement with what you're talking about. Because you're right. Everybody's not on the same wavelength in the mindset of that. So therefore, but I like the passage. I like what Jesus did, man. Now we're going back to the scripture. Now we go, because this is marketplace ministry. So at the end of the day, Jesus, he's really spent most of his time, not all of his time, most of the time, all the time he spent with God.
Right.
but most of the time he spent with only 12,
The disciples.
which
Right.
was which was the disciples.
Right.
So he had a tough thing on his hand because they were hard headed. They were killers, they were murderers, they was idolaters, they was liars, they was cheaters. You understand?
Yes, sir.
For them to follow him, so he didn't look at how they saw what he was saying. He just had to put it out there, but he walked with them. And I think that's what we are aiming to do, to walk with these people. You know what I'm saying? As we talk about this stuff, we're going to be planning to walk with them and set up different, programs and different things. You know what I'm saying? That's our plan, to go and say, yo, listen, we're going to start a mentorship program in this city. You know what I'm saying? We're going to connect with another organization to help you grow with this situation in the inner city. You know what I mean? This is what we're going to, you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, God is saying that's the new world order, collaboration. That's what we've been talking about, collaborating. You know what I'm saying? So of course, it has to come home to where it's, because we're definitely following what God is saying. This ain't about me and Chaplain Anthony James and Keith Henry's no. This ain't even our program. This is God's program. So it's coming around to whereas we know what we got to do. And so what I was saying earlier, just getting to right where we are right now. What you said got us right to where we are right now. And so this is what Marketplace Ministry is about, sharing, caring, collaborating. That's the big picture. Collaborating. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm gonna give you one bigger than that. It's black men, bridging the gap. You know what I mean? We are giving y'all our backstage meetings. Basically, this is what we discussing in a meeting. Like, hey, no, I think this is the way we should go. In the meeting, like this is the way we should do. We doing it real in time. You know what I mean? Like right now, on the go. You know what I mean? And we letting y'all in, and before we hit the streets, we letting y'all in. This is what we do. This is what we discussing. We talked about the presidential order. We talked about hitting the streets and sending them mentorships and different programs. This is what we discuss, and we're not gonna tell y'all how we're gonna do it, but we tell y'all what we doing.
Right.
You know what I mean? We putting stuff together. We not just talking about no. We putting out solutions out, and we coming together as men, black men, that 20-year gap, but we have a lot of experiences and wisdom together that would allow us to do what we put in our minds, because we can't just do it alone. You can't.
No, this ain't what this. No, there's no one. No person, no team leader is good without his team. No leader is good without his team. You know what I mean? We're nothing without a team. So, but once we sit down at the table, we start sitting at these tables. Then the how-to will be known. You know what I'm saying? Because right now we're just letting people know what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? The how-to is when we sit at them tables and we got people sitting around, and then we putting this thing in motion. You know what I mean? And we're gonna have our own platform to do it. We lead by example, and we submit to y'all. If y'all, whomever is on here under the sound of our voice, through Marketplace Ministry, we're walking alongside of each other. Not in the front, not in the back. There's no big eyes and little U's. We all need to come to the table and bring your talents and your gifts to the table. Yes. You know what I mean? And your resources. You know what I mean? This is what it's about. We ain't coming with just talking for hours and then we have nothing going on. Nah, ain't nobody doing all that. You know what I'm saying? Because that needs to stop. You know what I mean? We need to come together, because this thing is so serious to whereas, man, if I'm even trying to ask God to expedite this movement so that way we can go ahead and move on what we're trying to do, because at the end of the day, we have to do this. We have to do this. It's a mandate. This is a mandate because our communities, man, is really, really in bad shape, man. It's been in bad shape for centuries. It's been in bad shape. You know, whatever. We get the fact that we was bamboozled, we was led astray, we was whatever. But we have to take ownership. And my thing is we have to take ownership. Because if my household fails, I can't blame the government for my household failing.
I mean, at the end of the day, you can't.
Especially if I'm sitting here saying I know God. I can't blame the household. It's something that I'm missing. It's something that I'm not doing.
Hey,
Either I'm not
even
in my
as a
house.
mother or business person, you can't blame nobody but yourself. I always say study self-approved, man. Like, that's one thing. And again, that's why we are at where we at, because a lot of people blame a lot of people. We not blaming nobody. We not.
Nah,
And hey, I said I made bad decisions. You know what I mean?
right.
I said that. I didn't say very people. No, don't get me wrong. The system kind of manipulated, but I did it. You know what I mean? So that's where we coming from with it. Like we trying to get people on the same wavelength. As far as in black men that don't think emotionally. You know what I mean? We think logically. You know what I mean? And that's we trying to get you out of. Come on, man. Like, come on. Because guess what? We're going to
Let's
need
go.
y'all. I mean,
All these smart, intelligent, articulate
right.
black men. Let's go, because the women been ready. But we gotta take some of that pressure off of them. They got so much pressure on them, man. And you wonder why they act the way they act. You know what I'm saying? Because they feel like, man, please, I ain't trying to hear nothing. You got some women that still stand with their men, but a lot of them, man, please. They like, man, hush. We ain't trying to hear that because you ain't doing nothing. You talking. You ain't doing jack. So we have to help that situation. And that's I believe we have to, even if you're not with your baby's mother or your ex, whatever, you got children by them, you owe it to that child to help that child. And that's why a lot of these kids are out here doing all this craziness, because a lot of them are angry. I done went in prison. I'm a prison chaplain. I talked to a lot of them in prison. They angry at their fathers, man. They don't want to hear nothing from him. You understand? I'm just being honest with you.
And you
They
know
don't
what?
want to
And that's
angry.
something we need to change too, because even
We
with
need
my
to help
father,
that situation.
yeah, don't
Yes,
get
we
me
can.
wrong, Chap, my relationship, my father, how it was, and I regret I did that to him. You know what I mean? I feel like I was a part of his destruction. At the end of the day, I feel like I put more pressure on him as a black man. You know what I mean? Like don't get me wrong, like he wasn't the best, but at the end of the day, I believe that who am I? Who am I? Like, I have shortcomings with my own children.
Right.
Do I want them to come at me a certain kind of way, even though Lord knows I try my hardest?
But we got to help the young ones. We got to help the young ones see it another way. And that's what we're talking about, because they angry. Right now, it's hard to reach them right now, bro. It's hard to reach them. I'm talking about the ones that's out there in them streets, the one killing. I'm talking about the ones in prison that got 25 to life. You understand? And then they angry. They don't want to hear none of that. So what me and you discussed about how you felt even with me towards my dad, and I lived in the same household with my dad. So at the end of the day, I had some things, some wrongs that I had to make right, because he did the best he could. I'm talking about the ones, the men, I'm just going to put it out here. If the shoe fits, take it off.
Right.
I'm talking about the men that ain't doing nothing with their kids, just left them out there. That's who are the ones, because see, we got to get to the source of this thing. Yeah, it hurts. But once you hit it, you know how you got a pimple and that thing be hurting like crazy. But when you pop that thing, don't you get relief?
Yeah.
You get relief from it, right? The pimple has to be popped. That means these fathers at some point is going to have to say, listen, man, hold up. Dang. Put the pride to the side. Because what's happened, man, you know how powerful that is? If they see they daddy, well, hold on, I'm going to say this. I'm going to be praying like crazy. They might shoot at their daddy right now. Real talk. Let's just keep it real. You understand? Because I done heard I done talked to some young boys, some young boys now. They angry, man. They angry. They almost went on me, chaplain. Man, you need to get the hell out of my face, man. You understand? Because I ain't trying to hear that right now. Because you know why? Mama, they saw how mama had to
I was
suffer.
just waiting.
Mama.
Chap, I was gonna hang up. I was waiting on you to finish so I can say that same thing. These kids, these boys say they mama going through what they going through, and they look at their daddy
Right.
like, man, please,
Right.
don't get out
They
my
don't want to
face.
hear that. Right. Because
Man,
mama is going through so much and they don't want to hear that from the man. So as men, if you are real men, step up to the plate. Step up to the plate. Listen, you can say, oh, these young boys out here doing it. Don't get stupid because that's one of your kids out there doing it.
right.
So don't be talking too crazy. Well, most of them ain't saying nothing. They just sitting back. And I know they got to be feeling something. I know they got to be feeling. You ain't that numb to not feel that you ain't got no connection with your child. You understand what I'm saying? And that's the problem. That's genocide. And so the white man, I don't care what he taught you. Hey, man, get your mind right. Get your mind right.
Chap,
That's where we are with it.
Chap, I got a 4-year-old daughter, man.
Oh,
I think, man, her mother split up when she was about 11 months.
right.
And, man, it was just horrible, man. It was horrible. Just to know that I have a child that I really don't even, that we don't have that. I'm talking about, man, that ate me up. But it motivated me moving. But it ate me up. And it just, and every time I see it, it's just like, I want to give her whatever it is. What do you want? You know what I mean? Like, I just want to give her whatever because it's like I never want to feel like that again. Like I don't have that fun with my baby. You know what I mean? My child. You know what I mean? And I don't see how people do it. I don't see how people do it, man.
Guess what? We got to stop giving presents when we should give presents.
Right.
Show present. I'll be in there, not
Right.
gifts.
Right. No,
you know what I'm saying? Gifts get old, gifts break. But all they want to do is love on daddy. Even if you're not with the child in the household. Listen, I got 3 children by 3 different women. But I'm gonna tell you this, man. I try my hardest, man, to stay in their life. I told them each one of them. I said, I left your house, but I didn't leave your life. It's a big difference. It's a big difference. And even God, I'm asking God to even help these men. When you get into a relationship, stay there.
Right.
Stay there. Do what you can to do to stay there. You know what I'm saying? Stop leaving. We made those mistakes, man. So God is saying now help people correct that error. You know what I'm saying? Correct that error by loving on them and getting men to start talking about it. Because we're gonna stay on this subject, man, for a little bit, man. Because I think we need to hone in on this subject right here because we got some absentee fathers, man. Come on, you got a program, you got an organization, brother, called Substitute Father.
Exactly.
Substitute.
Chap, that's 2 for 2 today. Look, now we talked about the presidential order that was already ahead of time. I was already thinking ahead, like, hey man, we're gonna need this. The substitute fathers. Hey man, we're gonna need this out here. The kids ain't got no fathers, you know what I mean?
Come on, that's what I'm saying. Just like Men of Vision Exposed. I have an organization, Men of Vision Exposed. The word of God says a man without a vision shall perish. And God gave me that program to help these men expose themselves in their own community. Not nowhere else, in their own community, in their own household. And whatever, and I'm speaking to the men, whatever y'all did wrong, man, any men that y'all know, you know what I'm saying? Whatever mistakes you made, you can get it right. You still got breath in your body. But it's the ego. We ego tripping. You understand? We ego tripping. We dealing with stuff on our own selves. Just be true to yourself, man. And that's what I'm praying for God to help these men break them down. Break them down. My prayers, but I'm sending them to Marketplace Ministry. We're going to love on them, but we're going to love the hell out of them. That's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
You understand? And that's how we're gonna build this thing. Because we ain't up here talking this for nothing. We've been through this stuff. We've been there. We can't just speak on this and we don't know. I know for me, I'm speaking on something that I done experienced. Okay? So I got 3 kids right now. I love them dearly. But I'll tell you what, if my kids was in the street, I'm going to get them. I done went out there to get mine. I'm going to get them. It's that serious.
Yeah.
I'm going to get them. God said, go get them. God says, go get them. And that's what he means. He mean go get them or be quiet. Go sit in the corner somewhere, because at the end of the day, we going after these youngins because they the ones that are out here doing all this craziness. They angry. Then on top of that, they on drugs now too. Having sex. Promiscuous. Making babies following the father's lead. That curse has been passed down. We have to break that curse. It's a generational curse, man. We got to shut that curse down. See, I shut mine down in my family. I'm telling you. I shut mine down. My son came to me. Listen, I could have been like, nah, I ain't dealing with you. Nah, man, with open arms like the prodigal son. Come on in here. Get yourself together. Get it right. Thank God for my wife. She helped me to handle it. But at the end of the day, we leaving our kids out there, man. We leaving them out there. And the devil is raping them out there, raping their minds. You understand? Because they angry.
Yeah.
And then, you know,
Yeah, man.
we got, come on.
I spent some time out there, man. You know, between me out there, man, and man, it's not pretty, man.
Nah, it ain't going to, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, man, I spent some time out there, man, and it's not pretty out there, man. It's not pretty. I seen it, man. Like I seen it, man. I seen it with my own 2 eyes, chap. Like, man, I seen it, man. It's horrible, man, and you know
Listen,
it's horrible, man.
you almost listen. Let me say this to you. If you're not careful going approaching these young people, they might shoot you upside your head.
Oh yeah.
That's how angry, that's how Satan has infiltrated. He got them in a sense of thinking wrong. They smoking whatever they smoking, they drinking whatever they drinking.
They cook stuff and all kinds of stuff.
Man, they doing some stuff now, man, that I ain't never thought of, man. And I'm telling you this, that's what he's doing out there. He's you know, and God is calling us to the forefront to help him, man. We got to get him. We got to go get him, man. I'm going out there, but we have to be very strategic.
Oh, yeah.
That's why when we talk about outside of here, we can't broadcast nothing on here. We just talk about what we're doing. But when we sit down with certain ones, them hidden masters, we're going to talk about how we doing this thing, because they involved. They feeling it right now, what we talking about. They tired of it too.
Oh, yeah,
they tired of it. You understand? Wait for somebody to move. You know what I'm saying? So they can move with it. Because it's time, man. I'm tired of this, man, of this craziness. Can't even go outside your door, man. Can't even go outside your door. You know, with all this craziness, man. So this is what Marketplace Ministry is about. You know, we about healing. And I said this before. I told my wife too. I said the big problem is this. We're looking for reparations. We're looking for money in our community. God is saying y'all need healing. Y'all need healing first. Before y'all get y'all hands on anything, y'all need healing. And that's what we talking right now. We talking about healing and restoration, man. That's what we talking about.
I think I made a post about that today, man. You know, heal, man. Like, you know, and
healing, man.
And healing is not like the pain is just never gonna come back. It's able to, you know what I mean?
Right. Right. And then, but that's what we on. That's what we on. God is saying, start there first. Start there first with the healing. Got 28 seconds. You know what I mean? 28 seconds. But this is a deep situation right here, man. Now we at the meat. We ain't on milk no more. We on meat right now. We on meat, and this is for the ones that can handle the meat portions. And so this is Marketplace Ministry. We appreciate y'all. We're gonna be on here. You know, we got our certain times, but